Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass Hero, and welcome back to the letter. Previously, as with Rebecca, we saw some drama, and then we saw a ghost. Yep. The brush of fresh air against my cheeks does little to dampen the chill in my bones. But now the sensation, the fear and disquiet, it leaves whenever I see her. It's familiar enough for me. Already, it has made a home in my nerves. I don't even notice my trembling hands until Zachary points it out to me.
Rebecca? You okay? You ain't looking too good. You're shaking.
Shaking all over... No, yes, quite literally. Hastily, I retract my hands from his hold, crossing my arms across my chest instead, in some lame attempt to keep the smallest of movements down. The cold from the tips of my fingers seep through the thick material of my shirt, regardless. Neither helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head.
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zachary, did you see anything back there?
Oh, about what happened in the ballroom? Or...
No, not that. In the foyer, right behind... Never mind. You go ahead of me. Someone has to warn him. I'll just catch a cab on my own.
Warn him of what? Wait, Rebecca, did you forget something in there? I can...
I turn away and walk before he can stop me with a word to protest, because I'm not sensible. It's not wise. See, I was right. Coming back, that is. Especially after what happened. But Hannah's still an old friend, and Luke? Luke's never a friend or an enemy. Just an acquaintance who doesn't deserve whatever misfortune that letter might bring. I can't just leave those two in there. Isabella's right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that.
What took you so long? Let's go. I'll get the both of you back to the city.
My mistake. The second his voice cuts through the crisp night air is that I've allowed mine annoyance to get the better of me. Fuming, with my purpose forgone, I whirl around and march towards him. One accusation after another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. I hate you so much. That's a lot of accusations right there. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling it at him. That straight face he keeps as I do so doesn't help temper my anger either. It only makes me want to slap him some more sense into him.
Shouldn't we be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time since that mess in the hall. I told you I hate parties like...
And before that, where have you been the entire evening?
Right then and there, I might have forgiven him, if he's shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, giving me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't even need to put them into words. A single gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does that whenever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustrated huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself. But don't you dare think this will be the end of this. We'll talk about this tomorrow, and you better have a proper answer for me by then.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So without speaking any further, I simply stop over his car and climb inside, slamming the door behind me with as much force as my anger can show. They both follow after, and shortly we're on our way back to the city. Yet, even with the city's bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air of the mansion still lingers. The moon is almost at its highest by the time we reach Salemwell. Zachary has asked me to drop off first, the moment we've entered downtown Luxbourne. Though he never mentions anything, and has only words of thanks for us. He probably doesn't want to get caught in another spat between Ashton and I. It's all too clear in his face, the poor man. I'll have to apologize for subjecting him to that some other time. I think he's also hoping we'll be able to fix this without him around. Oh, how wrong he is. Even after respective heads have cooled off, the atmosphere within the car remains rife with unspoken tension. This isn't a problem so easily fixed with a few handshakes. Quite frankly, I don't know what will. Ashton himself has no idea what to do when he alights and toddles awkwardly in the middle of the car park, unsure. It almost seems like he's having an internal debate, whether he should say goodbye or mutter another apology. I could have driven him away, purely out of spite, the second I've gotten off. Still, old habits die hard. It's late, and Ashton's flat is on the other side of the city. Irritation might still rear its head every time I look at him right now, but I'm not too cruel to put him up on another long drive. especially when he still appears as if he gotten any rest.
You can borrow the couch.
Preferably the bed? I throw the keys to my flat his way before a protest forms on his lips. Although he catches it with ease, he eyes it with a wary expression and shoots a puzzled glance my way.
You haven't been forgiven. We're still going to have that talk, believe me. But I'm not about to send you out on another drive looking like that. It's late. Go get some rest.
We're setting aside a lot of loose ends like this. He appears to have accepted that reason, at least in the meantime. He does give me another questioning glance when I shove past him, pulling my mobile in the process.
Where are you going? I thought...
You go ahead upstairs. I need to contact Professor Andrew.
Andrew? Why would you... Oh, no. Please.
Oops, looks like they forgot the voices part. Gotta improvise. This again? Is this about the letter thing again? It's been a week, Vika.
I thought we already agreed that was a dumb Halloween prank. No need to bring in the old guy.
Of course, he's still skeptical. It makes one wonder if he's even seeing anything at all. Figures his curse will stay away from the scoffer. But this is another loose end tonight that I just can't leave alone. Ashton's beliefs notwithstanding. It just so happens that it's the one I can delve into using means other than taking a look at the mansion itself.
Ashton, do you really think I still give a shite after that stunt you pulled tonight?
No, but this is...
I've spent so many years with him to know this is about to turn into another argument. Before he can finish it, I come off with a firm raise in my hand. Talk to it.
Look, I don't care. There are weird things happening around here. And yes, it's Isabella's brand of weird. Ghostly voices, strange sounds, and a bloody woman sitting at the back of my car. You don't have to believe me. And I no longer have the patience to convince you, so just...
You know when every single one of your friends keeps saying they're seeing a ghost that's stalking them, you think Ashton would be like, well, maybe there's something right about this. Nah. Mass hallucination.
Just leave me be, Ashton.
He doesn't push it, growing quiet instead. Although, I know he has a whole case of it prepared inside his head. But there's a reluctant shift in his movement when he steps away from our conversation. Short of climbing the stairs, he stops, turns to face me with an expression almost too... conflicted? Yeah, get that brain noggin working.
Are you really sure?
What?
That there was something? That you've been, seeing things?
Yes, I'm very, very certain. Now go. And you better not break anything in there. The last time I let you stay over, it was that statuette Belle gave me. You haven't even replaced that one.
The last of my reprimand goes both unheard and unanswered as he disappears behind the stairs. If things are as strained, you might have a quip or two about that, followed by light banter. Instead, for a long moment, I am left staring after him. There's something in the way he asked it that nags. Coupled with his expression, the whole exchange just feels unsettling. One that doesn't fade even as I gather my thoughts and shift my focus on another, even as I dial Professor Andrews' number. That is when it clicks. During a long wait for the professor, one stray thought emerges from the unease. Ashton has not intended for his question to be a jibe. It's concern. For what, though? For my well-being. The letter's curse. The fact we're all doomed. Doomed! The woman I mentioned. The answers for those who have to wait, however. Finally, the call connects and Professor Andrews' voice echoes from the receiver.
Professor Andrew?
Rebecca? It's late. What can I do for you?
I know, I'm sorry, but this is a bit urgent.
After all, this is a more pressing matter. Our lives might be at stake and we're still in the dark.
Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you to do me a favor.
Let's see. Now we're on the 30th. Which means... We skipped this day already. So, Hannah's been murdered. And we are on the day that Zachary goes into the house. And the 31st is when, well, you know. November 1st we've been avoiding. Maybe that's the epilogue. Professor Andrew Clark has agreed to meet with me 2 days later in front of Luxbourne's public library. He has other commitments, but being a longtime family friend has its perks. I have my parents' connections to thank for that. Of course, I'm not the sort to impose on him often, but the situation is... well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without his signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library's restricted section. If I want to get more in-depth from the information in the Ermengarde mansion, that is, not something what they choose to show to the general public. As much as I hate to admit it, there's always something people censor, and whatever it is, I won't ever find in the general section. It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of that alone makes me antsy. Thankfully, I don't have to brood over it. The wait for the professor doesn't last long. He never did enjoy making people wait. Likewise, he disliked people who were tardy. He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind smile and casual wave of his hand. Check something real quick. What's branching tree telling me? So we're heading right for the climax right now, actually. Quite a bit of plot got skipped by going down that one route in the north. Quite a bit of plot. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that. Even if I can, it feels disrespectful to call you by your name alone.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
All right, but just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
He hands me the permit without further prompting. And just like he promised, he's also written a recommendation after his signature. Rebecca is a cool person. There we go. Professional recommendation. This is more than enough to get me to those files. I'm under a small thanks for slipping into my pocket. That's some good pizzozos right there. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed, in the very face of curiosity. Not surprising, considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right there and there, I've decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not all of it, but the stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, true to his inquisitive nature, he asks...
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner, but may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
Killer ghost. People showing up dead everywhere, chest ripped out.
It's the Ermengarde mansion, sir.
I mean that. That's what I mean. He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while I fear he'll take the slip of paper back. There's just something in what I said.
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see. Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about. Why, just this past week, I've got a few asking me about that. Imagine that.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't? Luxborn's most popular couple.
Especially Luke. Something falls behind his eyes. The warmth from them suddenly gone. Like he's reliving a painful Luke, distant memory, and seeing it play right in front of him. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces. That look has unsettled something in me.
Is something the matter?
Nothing much. But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
Is this about the rights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it. Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a light squeeze, a gesture younger me has always appreciated, and quickly crosses the street after. To Zarbooks. I watch him until he disappears behind the door to a cafe, I told you, until a doubt swimming inside my head finds a moment to rest. Whatever his business is with the rights isn't anything I should concern myself about. But somehow, in the grand scheme of things now, all of it feels oddly relevant. The how, though, I've yet to find out. And I'm hoping the library will give me the answers I want this time. Let's see. Are we floating here? We're getting there. We're getting there. On a gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty. The second floor, in particular. I've always considered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here to no end poring over the pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now it feels nothing like it. The silence is smothering. Suffocating. Even with how clean they've kept the microfiche room, how the entire small of it lacks a speck of dust or clutter, breathing is a struggle of air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this unease, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. Why, of all things, it has to be that silly nursery rhyme? I'm not an inkling. It does its job, however. It fills a lull with something far less awkward, far less deafening, and that's enough for a distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there's a possibility of it being fruitless by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who have been affected by this. What do we even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? A curse? If Isabella were still with us, what would she say? Would she blame us for not listening? That it cost us a life, her life, for any of us to begin heeding any of it? It all stems from that one moment in the movie house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken her warnings to heart. Yes, one stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it, or at the universe for throwing us into a horror visual novel. Into this mess. But we can only make do with what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a start.
A good start.
It doesn't take much time for me to find out what I need. A microfiche of old newspapers, long kept in special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. The year is the 1620s and beyond. Before the city of Luxborn even exists in the records, when the mansion has just been built and Anselm is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are missing. Days, sometimes several consecutive weeks without any records remaining. Often, it goes on for years. Troublesome, but as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the microfiche machine keeps me company as I go over each slide. Each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local lore knows. There are snippets, little mentions of the family that once settled in the house here and there. The usual singing and praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement to a buzzing town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on like this for a good while, until it come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anselm might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde, mourned their passing and held them in high esteem in the years after. But it was her daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Ho 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 ho! I'll help this town prosper at the cost of me being most likely secretly evil with my money. Why yes, that's quite wonderful, Lady Charlotte. This is how rich people are. It's accurate. Remarkable, considering it was a period of recovery from about a plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. What's surprising, though? Apparently her time also marked more than the superficial changes to the place. She moved things, changed the laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they're done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say, but she seems capable enough for more than that. The gist of it is, the town she rebuilt is what eventually grew to become Luxbourne City, while nearby Anselm Village remained as it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms in my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
That's what I'm thinking. If they're the founder of the town, wouldn't they be all over the place? One by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those antidotes, the one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from the brink of collapse or brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Not all aspects of her can be considered admirable. But this is history. Some parts are bound to be naturally delved into unpleasant territory whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, became common near the end of her life. I like how the first one looks kind of like the servant girl, and the second one looks like the servant girl now burning alive. Like, stop! You must not have slaves! But we must burn the slaves, for they are witches! Don't use wood, use my money for the kindling. Wood's too expensive. Which would have been completely unremarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slaves she saved. See? It caused quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town. At the word of Lady Charlotte alone. This doesn't really have anything to do with this curse, does it? Unless that woman following us and this slave are the same person. A tale of revenge? How cliché. However, with the lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint, the illustration would start resembling her. But in my field, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughingstock of the community. Then the ghost just starts coming in through the glass.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted. Hey look, it's Terry Bogard. I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a palm to my tired eyes. A lack of ample light in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form at the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take in all at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Now I'm at a dead end. I started gathering everything around me and placing them back in their respective envelopes for storage. Emotions no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. I didn't make much mess anyway, considering the lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. The where remains unknown, though. But just as I'm about to slip past the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. My hand pauses, the microfiche halfway through its protective sleeve. This is one of the few I've said about taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but upon closer look, I slid it back to the reader, gently turning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clear, they must have had the strong commission for this announcement. I don't doubt it. The details are far more intricate, but likeness likely closer to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizable this way, closer to those paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, there's a man standing beside her, Edouard Godfrey, according to the article, that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin, and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself. Or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. He looks eerily like... Hello? Are you talking about me and my money? No, we're talking about your resemblance. Oh, carry on then. My head snaps up, glowering at whoever's running in the floor above. Any day I'd march upstairs and reprimand whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
But now it's on time. I've gotten what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine's print button for a copy of the page, while my every hand moves to put everything back into storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. Relief, perhaps. Or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon, I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the print to finish. If only to stave off a headache building up from everything. Sometime, I've even begun humming the same song again, for comfort. Despite my doubts about this, despite all attention on my shoulders, this may be the small find, but at least I can start somewhere. And we're getting near the branch. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sound isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. Is it a ghost? No, it's even worse. The whole world's gone ghost. On a ghost to world ratio, it's like ghost pokes through a mirror, that's about 10% ghost. Ghost decides to try to haunt you, that's about 40% ghost. Entire world becomes ghost, that's about 100%. A feeling, a chilly brush of air behind my back. Brief enough for something sickening to suddenly lodge itself in my throat while I take in my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at the school, without delay, I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Oh my god. We're getting creative now, we've gone Spider-Man. I'm kind of joking about this, but that's kind of terrifying. My whole body freezes.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
Oh, even worse, it has Kylie's voice. Just end me. I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. Safe. For a little while, only the sound of papers crumbling under my grasp fills the room. The excitement from the earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread spreading throughout my limbs. More than the fear is the anger. It makes me hear her use my own student's voice against me. More than once I believed it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
We got a lot of books here, let's start throwing them. Although she hasn't made a move. If there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself. Because if I do fall back, turn away from her, I'll be left with no way out. I am not dying here.
You think you scare me?
Yeah.
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm not afraid of you, you spook! This is one Scotswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight! Come at me!
I expected she'll lunge, prove to me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives me is a smile, twisted and gnarled. It's as if time has called to a stop at the sight of it. A split-second decision. Before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in intense anticipation, hand grabbing whatever's tall enough from the nearby table and hurling it at her. Good. I don't bother looking for whatever I threw hit its mark. I run. Take Webster, you bastard! As fast as my legs can carry me. It's the latest edition, extra huge! This made my heart ready to burst out of my chest. With this maze of bookshelves, with the whole place almost void of people, is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? Wow. Actually, this is the branch for the end. So that means the ghost is really trying to end me now. It's just trying to finish this fight. There are people upstairs, aren't there? The weekend staff or some volunteer? There should be. Even if it's Sunday, I'm only here on a special permit. There should be at least one other person manning this place. I heard them a while ago. Of course, I couldn't possibly tell them about this. They won't believe me in the same manner we didn't buy Isabella's stories until it's too late. But I need to come up with excuses. For now, what's important is I don't end up trapped and alone with her.
Safety in numbers, as they say.
There's no hesitation in my steps as I race upstairs, irritating for any signs or sounds of the woman appearing. jumping at me again at any second. I can still hear her behind me, the grinding of bones, her whispers as she keeps calling me back. Although it's at a distance, I don't slow my pace. Highway rules be damned. Because no matter how much I pretend to be brave, the level-headed one or the tough one, this terrifies me. Well, if there's a ghost girl crawling on the ceiling and the entire world turned like red blood, you know, I feel like, yeah, make you a little unhinged. This scares me more than anything. This isn't how I plan to die. But when I get to the 3rd floor, this silence welcomes me in an emptiness that stretches out far too wide, spanning the entirety of the floor for it to be reassuring, sinking into a reality marble. And just behind me, somewhere at the foot of the stairs, panic rises up my throat. No other way now but up. So I bolt, desperation kicking in without warning. I take 2 steps at a time, tripping clumsily over some of my last-ditch attempt to escape. But I know, at the back of my mind, I know all of this is futile. With every footfall, with every ragged breath, with every pounding of my heart, it gets hammered to my mind. It only becomes clear to me once the door at the end opens, revealing a vast expanse of Luxporn's early morning skyline, with her treading at my heels, blocking my only way out.
Stay away from me!
A useless plea. Does she even understand a word I say? Can't she even? Is she still human in the first place? Somehow I doubt it. Because no human being will ever do this. And if she ever was, with what she did to Isabella, I don't believe an ounce of it still remains in her. Simply imagining what she's capable of doing to us. I never want to give her that chance.
I'm telling you to back off!
Her gait is slow as she walks forward. Each stride accompanied by a sound of breaking bones, of blood oozing from wounds that never found healing. And with every inch she draws nearer, even as I pull away to take back what little distance I can between us, a smile on her merely grows wider. A mocking gesture. For me. She may be less of a human now, but I'm pretty sure she's fully aware that she's got me cornered. So we can bother making it here if she isn't. I can't look away. I can't bring myself to, even as the heel of my shoe eventually hits the edge. End of the line. Trapped. Alone. So, that's how it ends, huh? Quietly without fanfare. Surrounded not by warm breeze but a chilly morning air. No soft footfalls on an empty hallway. The din of the early morning traffic below. No warm afternoon light. Nothing but the cold, pungent smell of death. All underneath a dreary morning sky. How fitting. Yet amidst all of it, there's a single voice I want to hear. If only for the last time.
Becca?
Hey, did I wake you up?
No, I left you a voicemail, so I thought, where are you?
The one I grew up with. Who always got grades better than I did without even trying. Whose silly antics I have to put up with all these years. Who stood by me even when things got tougher. That one person who's been a constant in my life.
Ash, do you remember that one time?
The what?
Back in secondary, we found a dog that one time, didn't we? I think his name was Coco.
I think so? Wait, that dog has a name?
I think that comes with having an owner, Ash.
I'm more surprised you remembered. Seriously, what brought this on? Are you planning to get one soon?
Nothing. Just...
Oh, that's painful.
It's just the first thing I remembered. It was after that thing with Mandy, wasn't it?
So weird. Of all the things we remember, it's those with something unpleasant in them. But he was there in all of them. And even then, I already knew how I felt about him. Despite everything, my lips curl up into a smile. Faint. A sad little thing on its own given the situation. Because even at the very end, I know I have this. The little memories. Those smiles I've always been fond of. And several years worth of simply being with him. Even if he stands in a place far away from me now. Far from how we used to be as children. If only I'd been selfish enough back then. If only I've told him how I've always felt. Then, perhaps, I won't be regretting anything now.
I thought you still don't like Mandy. You're acting weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salem Well right now and...
I wish time would simply stop for us. There's still a lot of things I want to say. Things I never bothered saying out loud. Things I should have said a long time ago to someone who's always been by my side. Just do it, come on. Say it. But in this moment, there's only one. If it means I'll have to be selfish, well...
I'm sorry. This will be the last.
For what, exactly? Becca, what's gotten into you?
I'm in love with you.
Really, Achievement? Really?
Huh? What are you going on about?
Since that time in secondary, since you stood in front of me and defended me, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Can this wait for a bit? God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A soft click. And I'm closing my eyes. There's a rush of air. The sound of the world dimming around me. Like a song coming to its inevitable end.
London Bridge is falling down, falling
No.
down, falling
No.
down. London Bridge
No, I can't even skip it if I want to.
down, my fair lady.
No, it's forcing me to listen. You've unlocked a memory fragment.
We joined a contest back then, didn't we? We had to dress you up as a girl and...
So this is the second variation of this bad end. This is with a lower affection for Luke, and I've started right here because this is actually where the variance begins. Aside from that, it's exactly the same leading up to here.
No.
What? You looked really pretty. I think I still have that picture somewhere.
Burn it. We're not talking about that again. You promised. Seriously, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered.
So weird. Despite everything, my lips curl up into a smile. Faint. A sad little thing on its own given the situation. Because even at the very end, I know I have this. The casual talk, the friendly banter. Talking like how we always would as children. If only I haven't been too selfish. If only I haven't taken all this for granted, in favor of my feelings. Then perhaps I won't be regretting anything now.
You're being weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salem Well right now and...
I wish time would simply stop for us. There's still a lot of things I want to say. Things I've never bothered saying out loud. Things I should have said a long time ago to someone who's always been by my side. But in this moment, there's only one.
Thanks, Ash.
Hold on, did I do something?
For everything.
Rebecca, what?
I'm so glad to have known you.
Wait, what are you? God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A soft click. And I'm closing my eyes. I gotta hear this again. There's a rush of air. The sound of the world dimming around me. Like a song coming to its inevitable end.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
So let's head for the door this time. If there's one, it's out of this room, out of this place, as far away as anyone can get from her. I can think about the rest of what I can do after I'm outside, when there are other people I can ask for help. When she's not chasing after me like this. There's no hesitation in my steps as I race for the restricted section's door, head downstairs and barrel straight for the library's exit. Towards safety, a desperate bid for my life. Library rules be damned. I can no longer hear her behind me. I'm not taking any chances. A breath almost escapes me as I near the door. A little more. But out of nowhere, a library cart careens from a blind corner and slams to my sides. Really? My back hits the floor with a hard thud. The impact completely knocking the breath out of me. The copper tang of blood gradually spreads over my tongue as I fight to get my bearings back. I force myself to move, even with the excruciating pain coursing from my limbs. The exit's almost there. If only I can... But there's no moment's respite. Oh, okay. The next thing I know, there's heavy weight atop of me, and the cold digits slide around my neck, tight like a vice, pressing, closing in, leaving me gasping for air. Through my blurred vision, I can only make out the hateful gleam, the spite in her eyes as she looms over my body, her grip on my throat grows tighter. Desperation kicks in. My nails dig into her wrists as I struggle against her firm grip, trying to pry her fingers away.
Let go. Let me go.
Keep the slider from the green bar moving the mouse in the arrow's direction. Whoop! Oh, I'm dead. Too strong. Her hold on me is too strong. My lungs begin to ache, burning with the lack of air. The pain growing worse every second I arrive under her punishing grip.
Somebody help me.
Darkness starts to fill the edges of my vision, and soon the world fades. Try this again. Arrows. That's pretty easy, actually, once I figure out what it was. What was that? Was that another book? Take Webster's Almanac version 2! I don't think twice. My limbs are moving on their own before what it did could fully register in my brain and my lungs could recover. Behind me, she lets out a cry, sharp, loud, and thunderous against the empty walls of the library. The fear her wails bring compares nothing to the relief of washing over me when I finally make it out. My knees buckle as soon as my feet hits the pavement, its surface cold and hard against my skin. I've only been in there for a few hours, and about 1 or 2, probably? I don't know anymore. It feels like an eternity all the same. My breathing hasn't slowed down yet, and I know it's expected to after going through that. I probably look like the most dignified creature on Sunday morning right now. Out of breath, disleveled, slumped here with a bloody lip and all. But at present, I simply can't bring myself to care, even when a few passers-by start giving me strange looks. Stare at me all you want. I don't give a single shot. I'm alive. I'm safe. This isn't the end yet, but I'm safe. And inside my bag is something that could get us out of this mess. Nothing definite yet. I don't want to get my hopes up. But still, something. If Isabella were watching us right now, I'm sure she'd feel the same. She'd be rooting for us, even. Wherever this will lead us to is a victory on its own. Now, all that's left is to find the others. The rest of us trapped in this bloody nightmare. Around a queue, as if to answer my previous thought, my mobile phone lets out a beep. I pick it up, simply hoping it'll be one of them. Only, it's a voicemail that greets me. From Ashton. There's a pang of disappointment, of course. But it brings some reassurance that nothing's happened to at least one of them.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
He answered right there. The message less than a minute long. Curt and gives nothing away. I'll let ease my worries, regardless, and do as he asks. Because this, too, is another triumph for us. One less thing to worry about.